ask me, are you dying as you live or living afraid to die? I couldn't lie, son. I heard God's son, like a calm hum. Died some, came alive some, up on high some. Lifted up that prison, you'll be sliding out that sepulcher. Crosshair on my body, don't care if they shoot the messenger. Ain't no weapon form shall prosper, gospel flow out me like lava. No enemy that we can't counter, Mouser. I spit heat throughout the heavens to the valleys, from the highs into the lows. Everybody,
I can't do it. Okay. We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Right. Fucking thing sucks.
In 5, 4, 3.
Wow, this is totally fucking up on my end. Excuse my language. So hello everybody. It's been a while. Thank you all for waiting. Had a lot of technical issues. Parsons, please forgive me for being short. I'm sorry. I feel really bad. So I'm not gonna go all the way back and say hi to everybody, but thank you so much for the warm welcome and thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate it. I've got to get back in the groove, but you know, I will. I'm moved. So let's rip off one band-aid. No, I did not move to Oregon. And no, I did not move for a man. Okay, so I'm still on the market if anybody's looking for a goth, crazy, infertile bitch, I guess one could say. So free Brian Koberger, please. We have 3 hours until the end of business for him to file his notice of appeal. I have been praying about that, and I really hope that he files, but if not, I pray for his family. Today, we are going to get into some very interesting documentation that I found, and if we sat here and read through all of it, it would take forever. We're not going to, but it is old process teachings, and some of these teachings I had never seen before, and some of them were removed, but my good buddy Parsons was able to find what I could not find that had been removed from their website. But specifically, there is Scientology being taught. And the reason why this is going to remain relevant as we move forward, I don't have it scheduled yet, but I do have a very important show coming up with the very lovely Parker. She's a fan favorite, right? We have a very important show coming up, and for those of you that are readers of a certain blog, we're going to be debunking some things. And all of this is going to tie together, but I think that it's important to show that the Scientology angle is still very relevant. This is what these people believe, and this goes through to best friends today. But for the moment, I am going to go ahead and run the intro, and then we will get into it.
Authorities tell us that the most serious, or perhaps the most dangerous kind of devil worship comes in the form of underground cults. Most of them are very secretive, usually organizing clandestine rituals in the dark of night. Well, those ceremonies sometimes involve the sharing of animal blood to gain power, they say, but cult members believe their strength really comes from secrecy.
For the endlessness of timelessness.
There are trolls in here. Great. Welcome, trolls. Whatever. I don't care. I'm still getting adjusted to the time change, even though it's been. Oh, thank you, Nemesis and Hades. Hello, sister. It's so nice to see you. So, anybody that's like expecting something super serial today, this ain't the stream, and I'm not the one. Okay, because like I said, I'm not gonna sit here and drudge through a million different things, because what I had done is I had downloaded all of these. I had compiled them into one PDF, and then my dear friend Parsons was kind enough to find the things that were missing. And so I have to go back and redo all of that, which is really fun, right? That's super fun. Now, which one is it? Yeah, because we're going to page 211. All right, so yeah, because I combined everything. All right, hold on. We'll go to the very tippy top, because I archived these pages. That way you guys could see it as it was. And the links that are in blue is what was missing. Okay. And then the links that don't have a link, obviously, they did not exist, right? But when I was looking through this, there was one section called Freddybodies that I was like, what the hell is a Freddybody? Some of you may have heard of this. I had not, and I think that the name is really gay. But this is going to tie into the whole redheaded Buddha, because for those of you who may or may not know, Hubbard considered himself, some people believe this, some people don't, that he was the reincarnation or a version of Buddha. Okay. Now, me and some of my dear friends like to make the joke, I think it came from Echo Cat, that Buddhism is the Satanist retirement plan. And some people may be offended at that. Don't really care. Not here to worry about your feelings, because there seems to be a lot of Satanists that just go on to Buddhism and they're super enlightened, whatever. Anyway, so let's go ahead and let's take a peek at this. Is just the letters. That way you guys can see how much crap there is, because it's really fun. Yeah? Okay, here we go. Yeah, sharing the tab. Okay. Please, Lord, tell me that this is showing up for you guys. It is. All right, beautiful. So, this is the letters from the Omega. B1, resist not evil. B3, or by 3, sorry, by 3, control. By 4, disillusionment. By 5, the cycle of ignorance. By 6, on Matthew Gospel. Ba-ba-da-da-da, right? And it's interesting, I mean, the garden, right? The Garden of Eden. But they also have the process garden in New Orleans. I don't know if I've shown you guys that, but they do. And we have all of this. This is, separation, the self, the rejection cycle. Control is contact, the new game, feeling unworthy, the game of the gods, the lie, process education, a warning, right and wrongs, processing and God patterns, male and female, healing. Oh, look at this one. Areas of maximum compulsion. Because I like to tell people, and this is just my personal opinion, I have never seen any proof of compulsions analysis, and I am of the opinion, until proven otherwise, that compulsions analysis or something of that name was a Scientology course that the DeGrimstons were taking at the time when they were quote unquote declared, aka ordered, to go and start their new sect, the process. This is my opinion, because there is no proof about compulsions analysis at all. Chronic depression, process children, teaching and preaching, reflections, externalizing the unity of Christ and Satan, the reconciliation of opposites, right? And God patterns, Freddybodies, and love your enemies. Isn't this fun? So many words, and you see it's 216 pages. Yeah, that's really fun. But it goes all the way back to, I think this is the oldest one, 1968. And again, not going to read through all of this, but obviously talking about Matthew chapter 10, Christ instructs his disciples before sending them out in pairs to go from city to city preaching the word. The instructions he gave apply now, possibly even more precisely than they did then. We have talked for some time about processians going out in pairs preaching the message for the end, and it looks as though we shall very soon be ready for just this kind of operation. And Matthew chapter 10 supplies the blueprint for it. I have clarified this in terms of its application to the process as it is now, and Father John has written out the clarifications from notes. Read and learn what he has written, as well as the words from Matthew. Soon you will receive clarifications of all Christ's words and actions as recorded by Matthew, which will help you to understand them more fully, again in terms of the process and what you already know about it. That too will be part of the preparation for going out and preaching the message of the end. So be it. Robert de Grimston. Bada boom, bada bing, right? I think that this is interesting because for those of you who have been watching listening to the podcast, and don't at me, I know that I'm behind on it, okay? But for those of you who have been listening in this timeline, we know that they are going out in pairs, right? Except for they were going out a bit earlier, according to Timothy Wiley, since in 1967, when they stumbled upon what was it? I think the human being, because they had met with Tommy Jude Baumler Jr. that spring, technically, according to Wiley in one of his many Watchers books, Mine Host. They were in pairs, according to him. So, see, we're seeing a little bit of contradiction here. A little bit of contradiction. But I would like to read this next one because is Janae here? Hi Pooks. Hello Janae. I miss you and I love you. Hello, and hello everybody else. It's not that I don't miss you or love you, but I love you and thank you. All right, so let's go to this one because I don't know, people be acting real wild about a certain nation's government. So let's see what the process had to say, since they were obviously textbook Nazis, right? Textbook Nazis, but I still think that this is interesting. So, right here, from Father John, the Omega chapter, the Gospel according to St. Matthew, chapter 10. These verses contain Christ's instructions to his disciples for their mission in the world. These are the orders for how the disciples shall conduct themselves in the prophecy of how the world will react and respond to them. To whom shall the disciples address themselves? These 12 Jesus sent forth and commanded them, saying, Go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any cities of the Samaritans enter ye not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. It is to the lost sheep of the house of Israel that the disciples shall address themselves, not to all and sundry, but to the lost sheep. For us of the process, the parallel is clear. For us, the lost sheep are the processians, and the potential processians who have not yet joined us. They who shall be part of the 144,000 at the end. Now hold on just a quick second. Didn't Charlie talk about 144,000 of his children in his hidey hole out in Death Valley? I got some weird stuff to tell you guys about Hole Patrol too. That's a thing. Do you like those words together? I think that they're interesting. It's fun to say, Hole Patrol. So, they may be found anywhere in the world, for it is not the country of Israel that is referred to here, but the Israelites, the spiritual descendants of the original 12 tribes. Uh-oh, we're getting a little bit weird. There is no point and no validity in searching for any but those who will recognize and receive the word. Now we of the gods renounce humanity and seek only those who are also of the gods and who seek us. What is the mission? And as ye go, preach, saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. To preach, to give spiritual sustenance, and to proclaim the message. And what is the message? That the kingdom of heaven is at hand. If the kingdom of heaven is at hand, then the kingdom of earth must also be finished. The end of the world is near, and it is after that there comes the kingdom of heaven. Processians will recognize and respond to this message. What else shall the disciples do in their mission? Heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out devils. Freely ye have received, freely give. these things Processians do already. Really? What's the date on this? Let's go back up. Oh, Tuesday, October 1st, 1968. Ah, all right. So they're already claiming to heal. Well, if they're doing Scientology technology, then this tracks, doing a lot of touching. What do they call that with Scientology? What is it? A touch assist? I can't remember. I talked about it in the podcast. Anyways, the sick in mind, soul, and body are healed. The dead, the living dead, are raised up to life. Devils are cast out, and devils include not only the devils of insanity, that's a hot take, but also the devils that inhabit the human mind in the form of mental agreements and fears and limitations. This is all real Scientology. The devils of insanity. The devils that inhabit the human mind in the form of mental agreements and fears and limitations. Freely we have received of the knowledge and inspiration and life of the process. The true validation of what we have received is to channel the gift onwards, as well as contributing physically up the hierarchy. So, channeling downwards what we have received means giving us spiritual sustenance and taking spiritual responsibility. It's supposed to be responsibility. This was a really old website, right? Really old website. Now, again, could sit here, read all of that, drive everybody completely nuts. Not going to. It's very, very long. And when I upload this to my Wayback, I will let you know. I have two Waybacks, BT dubs, okay, just so you guys know. I have two of them now. One is under the channel name rottingjewels. That way, for some people, a little bit easier and otherwise not. I've been trying to upload books as well as documents and trying to get all of that organized. But we're going to go ahead now and look at the other section before we get into the Freddybodies. And this is the logics. This is the thing that they were beating themselves in huts and finding Satan or Satan finding them. This is the Stuhl logics. Okay, so we'll just take a quick peek. Yes, it is touch assist. Thank you. Okay, sorry, I'm catching up on the chat. Trying to do two things at once. I've lost my gift, if I ever had one. So here are the logics. There are 7 of them. Responsibility, limitations, intention and counterintention, reality and acceptance, resistance, testing, and hostility. And here we go. September of 1967. This timeline tracks, right? Because we know when they were in Stuhl. Number 1, responsibility. Where a person has the power to choose, he has responsibility. Where he accepts his power to choose, he accepts responsibility. Where he rejects his power to choose, he accepts responsibility. Choice can be both conscious and unconscious. Conscious choice is where we consciously decide to do something or not to do something and act on the decision. Examples. You lead a blind man across the road. You have consciously chosen to help him. A good Samaritan, perhaps. You slap someone's face. You have consciously chosen to hurt that person. Acceptance of conscious choice is a full recognition that the choice is entirely ours, freely made, and fully intended. Rejection of conscious choice lies in attributing it to A. Ungovernable external pressures. Examples. What alternative did they leave me? My duty dictated my choice. I had to stay within the law. A sense of loyalty compelled me to do it. Okay. Morality, common sense. Society, convention, the urgency of the situation, public opinion, the interests of the family, the boss, my reputation, my religion, my moral obligations, my principles, and my upbringing. There are countless elements that can seem to dictate our choice for us, and upon them we can convincingly place the responsibility for most of our conscious decisions. Unavoidable ignorance of the true state of affairs. How could I have known? No one told me. They told me such and such. I thought, I assumed, I didn't understand, I didn't know. The law makes no allowance for ignorance. It regards knowing the law as a part of our responsibility. Yet society has made ignorance a prime and much used justification for people's failures and mistakes. Unconscious choice covers everything that we cause or have the power to cause without making a conscious decision. Everything that we choose unconsciously, but no less deliberately. I'm not reading these examples because they're talking about falling down the stairs. Okay? You get the Scientology angle here now? Yeah? Oh, thank you, Tara Jackson. I appreciate that very much. You make someone very happy by something you say to them. The falling down the stairs thing. Okay? That's the thing that gets me. This is the same thing as the process saying that the Jews deserved it because they felt guilty about Jesus. Yeah? Because that is a process. That's almost a direct quote. Okay? And here's all of your unconscious examples, right? I would love to see internal Scientology documents to compare and contrast. Because, in my personal opinion, all of this is in jargon, one might call it, that is much more understandable than Scientology, right? Because Scientology is just a bunch of word games and it's not really fun. Yeah? It's not really fun. So to me, this is just a watered down, religious, religized. I don't even know if that's a word. I don't know. Christianized, even though it's not Christianity, like mainstream for people. Because remember, they're still using the cans. They're still using the cans. Let's not forget that. The cans, right? Yeah, that's not what I mean. But it might as well be the same thing, because that's what you're doing to your brain with the cans, right? And this is why I can't trust anybody that's held the cans. I'm sorry. Now, I'm going to look at the chat really quick, because someone's talking about best friends. And people are saying crazy stuff. Someone works on their ranch. He was all fired up about them having all the animals. He said their past was weird and that they are cool now. Yeah. Well, I guess that that would have to, I guess it would depend on your opinion. And yes, I would ask him if they have any answers about running enough electricity to power a small town and that there were no animals visible. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's according to the Utah State Intelligence Police report. Okay, we've already gone over that multiple times. Hello, Soil Lodge. It is so nice to see you. Yeah, I'm not going to hold the cans. Spiritualized. Thank you. Spiritualized. Mortuary wood chipper. Thank you. That's a good term for it. I don't know why I couldn't think of it. Now, let me pull up something. We're going to go real basic right here. Because, again, people can make fun of me for not understanding the Scientology angle. I don't want to become a fucking Scientologist, okay? I don't need to understand it. And for all the people out on YouTube who, speak in Scientologies, you're not doing yourself any favors, okay? It's weird. I don't want to understand the language. I don't want to understand what you mean, okay? But let's go ahead and let's just do a quick basic Google search, okay? Before we get into the Freddybodies, yeah? So, because I'm not going to assume anyone's baseline knowledge. So right here, we're using AI. I'm giving into the technocracy. The technocracy. In Scientology, a Thetan is the immortal spiritual being, the true self or soul that resides within a person distinct from their body and mind. Derived from the Greek letter theta, representing thought or spirit, Thetans are considered immortal, capable of experiencing countless past lives, and are the source of all life and creation. Scientology's goal is to help Thetans become fully aware of their true nature and capabilities, freeing themselves from limitations imposed by physical existence through spiritual awakening processes like auditing. Yeah. Let's just look at what AI says is the key concepts related to Thetans, yeah? So it's a spiritual being, fundamental to the self. They are believed to have existed for trillions of years, long before inhabiting the physical universe. Fascinating. Isn't this all fascinating? They become trapped in the physical universe, matter, energy, space, and time. The messed universe, leading to a loss of their creative powers. Scientology's ultimate objective is to enable Thetans to gain spiritual freedom and return to their original, fully aware state. The body as a tool, the mind as a system. Isn't this so much fun? And then look, there's the body Thetans. That's what we're getting to, is the body Thetans. These are considered confused, disembodied souls from other planets that have attached themselves to a person's Thetan, and clearing them is a key objective of the higher operating Thetan, or OT, levels. So, with that in mind, just that general thought, imagine that. You got a bunch of little bodies attached to you that apparently were super creative. Yeah, Xenu, like, I don't know, what would mine be? I have no idea. I don't really want to think about it, but like, I don't know, there was like someone who like, Napoleon was like a body Thetan attached to him or something. Like, I've heard a lot of very strange things like this. And there's also the Nazi angle, right? Like the actual Nazi angle, you know, Scientologists thinking that they were SS officers in past lives. It's really fucking weird with Marianne thinking that she is a reincarnation of Goebbels, right? So, $400,000 to learn this BS. Steve Sippos, did you join Scientology and spend $400,000? I'm not going to move forward until you answer that. I'm just using this to wet my whistle. I would like to know. I'm totally calling you out if you spent $400,000 on Scientology. And then I would need to know if you held the cans. Hold on. Anna Pauluna Luna was talking about remote viewing on Rogan as if it was proof of finding the covenant. Oh, don't get me started on that. Don't get me started on that. There's a really strange sort of discourse right now about the validity of remote viewing or not. Obviously, I don't think that Rogan is helping, but remote viewing is deeply rooted in Scientology. And this is why, especially with the podcast, when I'm going through stuff, I include clips of Hubbard talking, like exteriorization, being out of your body, watching your body, essentially having, in my opinion, an out of body experience, right? Could that be considered a form of remote viewing? Like kindergarten remote viewing? Maybe. And yes, auditing Catholic confession and technocratic feedback. I absolutely do not disagree, Pete Thomas. I think that that is an astute observation. And yeah, I won't be watching any person on YouTube that talks about it because, well, they're just anti-miscavige, not anti-Scientology. But let's go ahead now. With all that in mind, now that I'm done rambling, and again, don't at me, don't leave comments about me sitting here talking to the fucking chat. I do not care. Let's get into Freddybodies. Okay? I'm not going to tell you what to think, but it's just food for thought, comparatively. And again, keep in mind the timeline here, because what are we told? First off, nobody talks about the fact that an E-meter or P-scope was found at Spawn Ranch, right? We have the P-scope itself. We have Timothy Wiley talking about the P-scope, which is the same as the E-meter, giving little bits of electricity. Nobody that I have ever spoken to who has been involved in Scientology in any form or fashion, except for one person, has addressed this. Because it is basically microdosing, ECT, electroconvulsive therapy. It is. Did you know that there are Scientologists who do it while they're pregnant and audit their babies in the womb? So when I say that people are cooked, I said what I said now. Okay? They're cooked. Some of them are literally cooked. Okay? Think about that. I'm not a physiologist, but I am a nurse. And I know that very slight variations of electrolytes alone can cause serious electric disturbances within your body, within your skeletal muscles, your cardiac muscles, all of that stuff, right? So then adding in electricity, including when a baby's in the womb, because you want to make sure that that baby has no body thetans on it. Yeah? Do you think that that causes permanent damage and possibly permanent brain damage? And ask yourself why no one ever talks about that. Yeah? No one ever talks about it. They talk about the almost knocked this thing off. They talk about the e-meter as if it is a lie detector test. And I have acknowledged that I believed this fallacy for a long time. But it's not. And people should start questioning those who continue to perpetuate that lie. Because it is a lie. It is a biofeedback machine. And just a little bit of electricity, but just a little bit of electricity can kill you. It can, essentially, especially if, let's just use me for an example, if I have very low potassium levels and high calcium levels and low magnesium, because potassium and magnesium, they work off of each other. My cardiac muscles are already going to be excitable. And then little zap. Why do you think that everybody talks about when they hold the cans that they have like a placebo effect? It's because no one's talking about the fact that there's very small amounts of electricity going through it. Yeah. So imagine doing that to a baby. Imagine doing that in stool. Taking drugs. Waiting for a hurricane to come. Beating yourselves in huts. According to the court records, sexual deviations with persons and dogs. Right? And then the same thing with the family. Yeah. Because we've talked about this all day. Spawn Ranch, Barker Ranch. All day. Auditing. All day. But I digress. Let's get into Freddybodies before I rant on too much about old Charlie. Just saying. I would ask people these questions. Just me. So, right here. By 35. I don't know if 35 has a, I don't know, occult meaning. You know, I've been trying to be better, guys. I've been trying to be better and study some of that stuff. Give me some credit. I've always avoided the spoopy. Freddybodies. Wednesday, March 2nd, 1972. Didn't they ditch the Scientology stuff like immediately? Right? This is what we're told. This is a fucking lie. Excuse my language. So, and here we are again with the maximum compulsion. Brethren, as it is. 1. We feel particularly responsible for those who manifest the negative side of our areas of maximum compulsion. 2. When we make contact with such people, we are drawn to them because of an unconscious desire to lift the burden which we feel that we have placed upon them. 3. Because there is no awareness behind this desire, because it is a compulsive demand rather than a detached requirement, we must fail. The burden remains. However, as a poor substitute, we take upon ourselves the relevant negative characteristics. Although this is no relief for them, rather like a child who feels remorse after having hurt another child and offers to hurt himself as well in order to square the account. 5. In the lifetime of each one of us, there has been one particular person who has caught us in this way. There is one particular person from whom we have taken a really heavy load of negative characteristics, which we did not have previously. 6. For each of us, there was a particular point in time when we took on this load, a point where our sense of responsibility reached a peak. And whereas, before that time, we may have taken and enacted minor aspects of that person's character to a small extent, after that time we enact his character, the negative side of it, very heavily indeed. 7. The catch point might be an important or dramatic incident, a brief but significant time period, a change of circumstances or environment, or any similar highlight or lowlight in our lives. 8. The catch point may be at any time during our life. If it's one of our parents, for example, who caught us, the catch point could have been sometime in our childhood. 9. We may have known the person who caught us for a long time before the catch point, or only a short time. We may continue to know him afterwards, or we may not. Whichever, from that time onwards, we enact what we have taken on. It's not us, it's him. But we make it us. 10. Example. You have a friend called Freddy. He hits all your reflexes because he manifests the negative side of your area. That draws you to him. It may not be the happiest of relationships, but it's a compulsive one, and difficult, if not impossible, to break off, even if you want to. A particularly charged incident involving both or you brings your sense of responsibility for him home to you with special intensity. That's the point when he catches you, and you take on a whole load of Freddy's worst personality traits. And from that point onwards, whether you ever see Freddy again or not, you carry him around with you like a body on your back. Except this particular Freddy body happens to be in your psyche. 11. Until each of us knows who our particular Freddy body is, we have considerable difficulty in externalizing a great deal of negativity because we have taken it, not from someone outside of ourselves in time, but from him or her way back in time. Only to him can we successfully externalize a large section of our own negative attitudes, and then only at that point in time when we took it from him. 12. So, just as each of us has found his area of maximum compulsion and his area of maximum resistance, each of us can equally find his Freddy body in exactly the same way. 13. On your list, there may be a whole series of people or groups of people who have caught you in a minor way, both before your main catch and after it. Those who came before the catch helped to lead you up to it, prepared you for it by introducing you to some of the characteristics you were going to take on. Those who came after the catch helped to reinforce it for you, brought out the characteristics in you which you had taken on, and intensified them. A kind of refueling. 14. But what matters is the catch itself and the person who caught you. 15. Although we talk about him, your Freddy body, catching you, the choice, as far as you are concerned, was yours. You chose to be caught. You chose to take on the negative characteristics which he manifested. He could not have laid them on you if you had not wanted them. This is getting a little bit guilty, isn't it? This could get really ugly. So, although you can externalize the characteristics to him, you will gain nothing by offloading your responsibility for manifesting them onto him. 16. Having found out in the usual way just who your Freddy body is and when he caught you, you will be asked to list all the characteristics which you took from, I don't know, him, I guess, hip T, I'm reading it as is, onto yourself at that time. This will give you a precise idea of what you caught, and therefore what you can externalize back to him. 17. This list of characteristics describes, in the main, the difference, in a negative direction, between how you were before the catch point and how you were after it. Oh, fuck me, excuse my French. 18. The catch point is usually recognizable by the fact or immediately after it. You went into some kind of decline, lost or seemed to lose certain of your most important capabilities and assets. This, of course, being the direct result of suddenly taking on a particularly heavy burden of negativity. 19. When you have found your Freddy body, the point at which he caught you, and what you took from him, you will find great relief in knowing precisely where a whole section of the negative side of your personality came from, and in externalizing it there. So be it. Robert de Grimston. What a nightmare. What a nightmare, right? That's not fun. That's not fun for anybody. I'm not telling anybody what to think, but that is very clearly talking about body thetans, in my opinion. Okay? It's very clearly talking about body thetans, in my opinion. There's a lot of everything is conscious or subconscious, and, this whole, oh, like I'm attacked. My negative aspects are because of an interaction with someone else, and, I subconsciously or unconsciously asked for it. Get the fuck out of here. I don't have any patience for this. I do think that Robert believed it. Yeah, absolutely. I do. I 100% believe that Robert believed this. I believe that Marianne believed it. I believe that they all believed it. And I believe that they still do. I believe that they still do. This is just my opinion. They deny it. They deny it, but why do they deny it so vehemently? And why does the Satanic Temple, Dougie, Lucian, One Eye, why does he specifically say that like he's going to improve on the e-meter? Right? These are questions that I've asked that have never been addressed. Ever. And I have asked them directly, and I've asked them politely and respectfully. Nobody thinks it's weird that the Satanic Temple's headquarters has an e-meter that they use. But hey, what do I know? What do I know? Right? Now, what I am going to do you guys remember, I think it was the second to last live stream, maybe the last live stream. Oh no, it was the one where I was talking about the Satanic Temple. The 4P2, the new way, 4P, that whole thing that I had found online, and I told you guys that I was, digging into it. So, in regards to that, I'm going to show you guys because I cannot find a actual book, like a copy that I can download, and it's really annoying. The individual that created that experiment, because that's what they say it is, that it was an experiment that they ran, which is very odd. But this individual is one of many who believes that Hubbard is the Buddha, that he is the red-headed Buddha, right? There's a lot of people that believe this. And it's really interesting when you look at some of the individuals who are in the X community, right? I can't remember, someone left a comment about my community post. I've been really bad about replying to comments as of late. I apologize. The Landisman in my community section, yes, that is the same Landisman that's in the X community on YouTube. Yeah, Smut and the club scene, and maybe the process. We're not going to talk about that today, though. I'm saving that for another day. So, I am going to pull up, because I cannot download this, unfortunately, but I am going to pull up an excerpt from a book by Peter Moon called The Montauk Book of the Dead. Now, the title of the book drives me completely insane. I'm like, why do they have to call it The Montauk Book of the Dead? But this book, I encourage people to read it. It is in the Wayback, again, by Peter Moon. This book is very, very sympathetic to Scientology, very sympathetic to essentially process ideology, in my opinion, when you know what you're looking at. But when we see Mr. Matheny here writing this book, creating this new sort of religion, right? Because they have this whole thing called like Ong's hat. It's very strange. I don't really understand it, but I just wanted to show an example of the discussions of the red-headed Buddha, as it were. I don't get it, and I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't really care. Let me go ahead and make sure I'm on the right page, and then we will get into it. And there we come on. There we go. Okay. So, hopefully you guys can see that. All right, I'm just going to pull this up all the way. There we go. So right here, Montauk Book of the Dead. And see, talking about Scientology and Nazis, right? It says if you give Scientology to the Nazis or the intelligence community, you might find that they would use it to mind control others. If you were to give it to Mother Teresa, you might find her using it to heal her patients. If you gave it to Saint Teresa of Avignon, she would likely have used it to send her students into spiritual ecstasy. Sometimes the vehicle of conveyance is more important than what is being conveyed. It's a hot take. Just as there are many higher order and lower order beings in schools and universities, Scientology was no exception. A monkey cage is a monkey cage. Huh? Okay, so over here, because this is my focus. So right here, who de Buddha? When I had been aboard the Apollo for the better part of a year, I met a new crew member who had just arrived from Celebrity Center, Los Angeles. He was a nice guy and was more than happy to be on the Apollo. When he told me what had propelled him to come aboard, I was a little taken aback. He then relayed to me a story about LRH having been Buddha. As Buddha was now back in human form, this man wanted to be with him. Although I had been in Scientology for over 2 years at that point, I had never heard any such story beyond what was perhaps a wild rumor. Personally, I thought the idea was over the top and I had no serious regard for it. After he told me this, I soon learned that a photocopied document had been circulated around LA that was entitled The Hymn of Asia, and addressed by Ron to a 1956 Buddhist Congress, wherein he rhetorically stated or implied that he was Maitreya, another name for the second coming of the Buddha. I never got my hands on the manuscript until it came out in published form almost 2 years later. In retrospect, I now suspect, but do not know, that the manuscript was floated around Los Angeles by LRH in order to see how many people would respond to it. They loved it. A seed had been planted. Huh. So, whether you think that old Hubs was the Buddha or not, whoops, I did not mean to do that. Crap. Let me stop sharing the screen. I gotta get back in the groove, guys. It's been too long. So, whatever. There you go. Obviously, the book is written by a Scientologist, but with Joseph Matheny, because I have a lot of stuff to show you guys. If you're familiar with the Great Occult Lodge, there's some really uncomfortable stuff with kids on there, like not saying that like my hard drive is compromised. There were just things on there that I felt very uncomfortable looking at. There's a lot of really nasty stuff, but it's going to take me some time to get all of that put together. But that is the same Joseph Matheny who did the 4P to the New Way, quote unquote, experiment. The experiment that they said was basically just an online recruitment test that failed. And the link, allegedly, according to Joseph Matheny, went to the Wikipedia page for the process. This is what they say. There's no proof of that. Everything has been completely memory hold. And to me, I'm kind of tired personally of, having arguments with people about this stuff. Not necessarily arguments, but, there's people in this chat right now that I have literally seen that, say like, oh, like she ties like Scientology and the process together. Well, it's because I study these things objectively. And again, the lady doth protest just a little bit too much. Because when me and Parker get into our real deep dive, debunking some of the things that have been put out lately, I'm going to be able to show you. I've already shown you before, but I'm going to be able to show you. Because these people don't want you talking about them. And I think it's good to start with a reminder, now that I'm coming back to YouTube, right? I had to take a break, but now I'm moved. This is not my final setup, okay? It's not my final setup, but this is how I'm set up for now. But now that I'm back on YouTube, to show that there are certain people out here in the modern day iteration of the process who will threaten you. They will threaten you. And I have it in writing. And it's not about the drama. It's not about any of that. But I'm ready to get back into the shits, into the thick of it. It's time for us to get back into the thick of it. I have at least probably 5 years of information to go through with you guys, especially because there are things that I would like to show you from the podcast. I don't know exactly what order I'm going to do that in. I'm gonna have to kind of try to play that out in my own mind, but there are things within the podcast that I would like to show you, including photos, newspaper articles, things of that sort. Because if you are listening to it, the last episode that I did, George von Hilsheimer, Paul Krasner, they're using these type of techniques, including niacin overdoses on children in a dentist chair, electrocuting them while videotaping it. Yeah, that's the same school that was harboring a satanic cult that was funded by the Pentagon, right? Yeah, Paul Krasner, really cool guy, right? Um, I want to show you guys some of those things because I think that it's important to have those visuals, and I'm not able to do that on the podcast. And obviously, I already have a lot of the stuff downloaded, so I'm probably not going to put it into, a like PowerPoint. It's probably just going to be all of the articles that I've done, like all the articles that I've downloaded, and then show you guys because people need to see this stuff. There is a huge campaign to sit here and say that Scientology's numbers are dwindling, that it's a small world. And again, I will state, where's the proof? People say these things because they have buildings that are empty and that they're not recruiting. Where's the proof? Because historically speaking, if we're following all of this through, Scientology has simply gone underground, like every other cult has done since time immemorial, right? They have gone underground just as the process has attempted to go underground, even though we all know that they are today Best Friends Animal Society and the Satanic Temple, among other groups, right? Like the Temple of Psychic Youth, because remember, I found that ID card, right? Yeah, I found the ID card. And it showed where somebody had been recruited into the Temple of Psychic Youth. These groups are real. I'm not over here doing satanic panic nonsense. These groups are real. These things are real. And we have a lot of shit to get through. And I've had a lot going on. But I'm ready to get back into the groove of things. I will not be doing a show a day. What my plan is as I get ready to wrap up, because that's really all I had to show you. I told you, don't have high expectations from me today. I just wanted to show that was 1972. They have not abandoned their red-headed Buddha. What my plan is right now until I get into my office. Would you like to step into my office? Till I get into my office, I'm going to do one live stream a week. Next week is, wow, why can't I think of his name? I literally have it in, okay, Bernard Crow. Next week is Bernard Crow. We're talking about Bernard Crow because I've been wanting to talk about Bernard Crow and all the lies about Bernard Crow because they did Bernard Crow really dirty, and I don't know, maybe he did deserve it. I have no idea. But I'm going to do a show a week, and then once I get moved, I'm probably going to do at least 2 a week, and then on the Patreon, because they have enabled now that I can do live streaming on Patreon, which is super cool. I've been waiting for that. I'm going to basically test run like a news, like not news, but we're just going to go through the news. We're just going to do that. And it'll be like at least once a week over there. And maybe I'll, do it over here sometimes too. Because you guys, like, some people think, I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of people think that all I do is like, just look at the process. I don't. That's why I put like free Brian Koberger, right? Like, free Brian Koberger. I'm paying attention to a lot of things. I research a lot of stuff, and sometimes it gets really overwhelming, but some stuff I don't feel comfortable talking about on air. Because there's people that have been doing stuff on YouTube for a long time. And it's like I would rather just send people to go watch their stuff because they've already put in the work, right? And they've drawn many similar conclusions to what I have. Have I read Miles Copeland, The Game Player? He talks about a program he and Bob Mandelstam started at the CIA called Occultism in High Places, OHP. OHP. I have, but it's been a long time, Paul, and I know Miles Copeland spent some time with Hubs. So that's interesting. Occultism in High Places. Yeah, I think that I don't know. I don't really know what to tell people. People think that all of this stuff is fake, and I'm not here to convince anybody otherwise, but you just got to ask yourself why we're not allowed to talk about certain groups. And yes, they will threaten, and Best Friends threatens and bullies you if you question their pit bull trafficking program. That is true as well. I have seen that. I have seen that type of activity as well, because I also have not forgotten about Best Friends itself. there's some discussions that need to be had about other things that were going on in New Orleans at the time of Katrina. For those that have watched the Katrina doc, I don't recommend it. It was very nerve-wracking and made me very upset. But remember, the process was there, stepping over dead bodies to save animals, according to them. Right. There's a lot of things that need to be talked about, guys. We've got a lot of ground to cover. I certainly have my work cut out for me. I'm going to be very, very busy. But hopefully this was not too boring. Sorry about being late. I've really got to get back in the swing of things. Again, I'm still adjusting to the time change. And again, to squash the rumors before I go, because I feel that I have to do this because I see people saying wild stuff, people talking about me all the time. And I'm just not going to come on here and talk about it because I don't really fucking care. I did not move to the West Coast for a man. I'm not with a man. I'm single. I'm single like a Pringle. Okay. And I'm not in Oregon. And I'm not in LA. Okay? I'm not in San Francisco. I'm not in fucking California. But I am on the West Coast. So, if you know anybody that's, looking, then, holla at your girl. Okay? But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get out of here. I will get back to everybody in emails, comments. That's my goal between this stream and next week's stream, is to slowly get caught up. So if you get a notification from a comment that you have left with in the past month, possibly, don't be startled. It's just me trying to catch up. I have not abandoned all hope, and I certainly have not abandoned all of you guys. I am going to dip out. See ya.